Hello, welcome to GeoAI tutorial number 13. In this video, I'm going to show you how to train deep learning models for doing solar panel detection using the GeoAI Python package. Before we dive into the source code, I would like to show you the results. So this is the map showing you a satellite area imagery covering the Davis, California. And so the red outlines are the solar panel detection using the GeoAI package, just with couple lines of code. And you can zoom in, you can zoom out to see the result. It's not perfect, but it's very minimal efforts that you can use this to fine tune the model, and you can use it to detect solar panels in other parts of the US or even around the globe. So let's get into that. If you want to follow this tutorial, check out the link in the video description below. You can go to the GeoAI webpage and then scroll down to find train solar panel detection. So click here, and then you can either run this one using Google Colab. Make sure you turn on the GPU so that you can have, it's going to be much faster. So click save. You should be able to run it using Google Colab. Or you can download this one to a local computer. So just click the download button, and then you should be able to save this one to your computer. If you want to learn more about the GeoAI package, you're welcome to check out the YouTube tutorial series. Right click and it will take you to the webpage. Actually, in tutorial number 10, I already show how to do the solar panel detection using pre-trained models. And actually, the pre-trained model, I utilize the ArcGIS Living Atlas, the pre-trained model for doing solar panel detection. And then a couple of days ago, Esri actually reached out to me saying that I could not use their pre-trained models without ArcGIS, and they do not allow me to redistribute the pre-trained models. And so I've took down all the models, all the pre-trained models that I've been using. So I spent the entire day today just to retrain all the models from scratch so that you can use it easily without any restrictions. And so going forward, we're going to retrain all our models from scratch. So we are not going to use any other pre-trained models that require us to use ArcGIS. And I hope you find this very useful, because now you can run this one using any open source software without restriction. So let's get into that. Once you have downloaded the notebook, you can run this one on a local computer. So I'm going to restart my kernel so that we can start from scratch. So first, let's import the library. So I'm going to just import GeoAI. Then we're going to download some sample data set. So we are going to have the training data set and also the vector data label, basically the solar panels. Then after we train the model, we're going to test the model on the testing raster imagery. So let's download the data, and then we can take a quick look of the sample data set. You can just call the view vector interact function to visualize the raster imagery and also the solar panels on top of that. So this is what it looks like. So let me show you here and zoom in a little bit. And the imagery is 7 centimeter, just a sample data set. You can utilize your own data set if you want to. So I spent time creating these training labels manually for this area. It took me a while, but it looks pretty decent right now. So these are all the solar panels within this area. It's quite a lot of those solar panels. So you can zoom in, you can see they really have nice shape and geometries. And all we need to train the model is one imagery or GeoTIFF, basically geospatial data covering the area, and then also the solar panels covering this area. That's it. And you don't have to think about how to create the training data yourself. You can just use this one. Of course, if the solar panels look very different from the area that you are working on, you can then create your own training data. But you can utilize the model that are already pre-trained, and you can fine tune it using my pre-trained model. So this is what the data looks like, and you're welcome to inspect the result. I think I have manually delineated all the solar panels. There might be some missing one, but I think this is a decent one that we can utilize to train the model. Also, I can show you the testing imagery. So this is another imagery that we're going to test the result. You can zoom in. This one also here has a lot of solar panels. As you can see, zoom in, zoom out here. It's actually very an area in the same area, but it's like different parts. They don't have, they might have overlap slightly on the upper left corner, but other than that, there are two different locations. So we're going to test the final result, the model on this area. Okay, so next step is to create the training data. So basically we have the satellite imagery or aerial imagery high resolution, and then we have the solar panels labels. So how can we create the training data? All we need is just this function, export geotiff tiles, and then provide the aerial imagery. Where do you want to save the training data? Also provide the labels. Basically, in this case, it's the vector data. So the file paths to the vector data. Then you can specify what's the type size. Basically, to subdivide the image into smaller pieces. And also the stripe basically is the offset when you are sliding from the left, and also from the top to from the left to the right, from the top to the bottom. Buffer, we don't really need a buffer. We want it very precise. So we want the boundary to align very well with the imagery. So that's pretty much that's it. And just run this one. We subdivide your data. So creating the image chips with images and also corresponding mask. So basically you have the image, you have the label, and that's it. So everything has been taken care of. You can see how many tiles in total. So we have 312 tiles, and not all the tiles have solar panels. So only 43, almost 44% of the image tiles has solar panels. That's fine. And if you want to look at it, you can also find it under your user directory, working directory here. So the images. So these are all the image tiles. Again, it has 312 tiles here. So you can take a look at the total number. So these are the image tiles. And also it has corresponding label. So the label basically is the solar panels, whether or not. So it's going to be binary, yes or no, 0 and 1. And once you have this, now we can start training the model. So what we're going to use here is the utilizing the mass RCA model. So this is a pretty powerful one. And in order to train the model, you need to provide the image directory. So the image will be just the array images, and the labels will be the images, the directory to the labels. So because we provided the vector data, so when we created this training data, it automatically convert all the vector data to raster data set at the same resolution and also the same projection as the array imagery. And then you can specify where you want to save the output models, the number of channels, because the imagery is RGB. But if you have other satellite data that has more than 3 bands, you can change it here. So change to whatever number of channels, basically number of spectral bands that your imagery have. Then whether you want to use the pre-trained model, so you're going to, if yes, you're going to use the pre-trained weight, base size 4, and we're going to train, for example, 100 epochs, a learning rate, and also validation split. Basically means you want to use 80% for training and then 20% for validation. Just to save some time, I'm just going to maybe go to just train 20 epochs. If you have more time, you can change it, increase the last number. So that's it. So we're going to use the GPU to do the training, and then you can actually follow through here how many epochs. So we have roughly 312 image tiles, image pairs, and for each time you're going to feed 4, because the base size is 4. So you're going to feed 4 images and 4 labels into the model all at once. So at the beginning, you see here, this is the first epoch. The IOU, basically intersection over union, is pretty low, only 36%. But after 2 epochs, the IOU increased to 0.67. And the within number of epochs increasing, you're going to see the IOU increase. So ideally, we want to reach at least, for example, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, something like that. That means the higher the better. So the IOU range from 0 to 1. The 0, that means is your model is very bad. It doesn't predict any pixels correctly. And the higher the number, the better. So we then, once you finish the model, then you can use that to do inferencing. Right now, if you look at the numbers, it fluctuates a little bit. So 0.62, 0.74, 0.65, and then after that, it should be increasing steadily. It might still fluctuate a little bit, but I mean, you want to see this one is not dropping back to 0.3 or 0.4. Okay, so after almost like 9 epochs, we have almost close to 0.8, and that's a good sign. So it might take some time, take a couple more minutes. I have trained the model for 100 epochs. I think it reached at least about 0.8 or something. I have already uploaded the pre-trained model to Hugging Face, so you can just directly use the pre-trained model. You don't have to do it yourself. All you need is just to call the object detection function, and then just passing the imagery where you want to save the file path, and then you can also just download the pre-trained model from my Hugging Face. If you want, you can check out the tutorial, so you'll be the examples, and then the solar panel detection. So right now, this example is using the model that I pre-trained myself. It's not from Axios anymore. So this is, you can run this notebook, and then all you need to just provide your own data. Then you will generate the build solar panels for your area of interest. And okay, so take a look. Now we have the training. The IOU is 0.8, 0.81, 0.82. So this good. So we're only utilizing this for training for 20 epochs, and now it's not increasing anymore. So you can see once you reach a certain number of epochs, the IOU doesn't change very much. That means it's pretty stable. So you don't necessarily need to have like over 100 epochs. I mean, 20 epochs is pretty decent. So for example, for this one right now, the IOU is 0.86. It's pretty good. So once you have this, now we can run the inference on our own data. So earlier I showed you how to download the testing imagery. Once you have this, now just set the output directory where you want to output the prediction. After that, just call this function, object detection, provide your image file path, where you're going to output that, and also the model path. So the model path is the one that we just changed. So it's using 20 epochs. All other parameters, the window size and also the overlap should be the same as when we create the image chips. So the batch size is the same, the number of channels is the same. The only thing that you need to pay attention to is the confidence threshold. So the value range from 0 to 1. The higher the number, the more selective, the smaller number of objects you're going to detect. So you can start with 0.5. If you see many missing results, missing solar panels, then you decrease this number. If you see many false positive, then you want to increase this number. So let's run it, and under the hood, it's going to basically subdivide the testing imagery into smaller pieces, and then just run through that using the model that we just pre-trained. After that, just call this orthogonal light function to basically improve the shape, because otherwise it's going to be a lot of rocky edges. So this function basically regularize the solar panels outlines to make it look really better, much better. So very quick, and then it's done. Now we can visualize the result. Call this view vector interactive, and that's it. So take a look. This is the result, and we only spent a couple minutes, just 20 epochs to train the model. Now the model can actually detect the solar panels. Again, it's not going to be perfect. You might see some artifacts here. For example, this one is not perfectly aligned. Again, you can fine-tune the model a little bit more to get a better result. But there's also missing one here. If sometimes the solar panel, the shape is a little bit complicated, and also direction, then when you are simplifying, doing the orthogonal light function, you might want to increase this number so that the shape will be further simplified. But it sometimes will create some other artifacts for others. So you might need to place with the parameters a little bit to see which one give you the best result. You see this one here, it's oversimplified. Other than that, I mean, majority of those looks pretty good. So these are all the solar panels, right? And looks good. Also, you can create a split panel map. So if you want, I can just create, for example, this one here. Now I can visualize the data side by side using the split panel. So here you can zoom in. This is exactly excuse me, what I showed you at the very beginning. Okay, so this is the first detection. So you might need to remove this one. Again, right now we are we're solely using the area imagery. So in the future, we can incorporate LiDAR data, for example, digital surface model, because most of the solar panels are in the rooftop, so the elevation is much higher than the ground. Using those criteria, we can actually remove some of the false positive detection, but we cover that in another tutorial in the future. Okay, so this is it. And if you are interested in, for example, figuring out how many buildings, how many solar panels in here, you can also calculate the geometry. I forgot to add this one, but you can just, for example, GDF2 equal to, so let me show you how to do that. You can just call GeoAI dot, I think calculate, I think 8 geometry properties. Okay, then just passing the geodata frame that we have. And for the properties, you can just use the default settings. That's it. Then from here, you can take a look at what's inside. So hey, and clearly you can see now we have all the properties, size, the length, the perimeter, and also some other geometry properties. So this might be useful even to figure out, for example, how many solar panels in this area, what's the medium size, what's the average size, something like that. So for example, you can figure out roughly what's the average size of the solar panels. So you can just go GDF2 and then area, okay, square meters, and then dot hits. So this one shows you right now, for example, what's the histogram, basically the distribution of the solar panels. So you can see most of them are around, for example, between 10 to 20 square meters, something like that. Of course, you can count how many solar panels as well. And then you can run this one, view interactive. So now if you have your mouse, you should be able to see, oh, by the way, you need to view interactive. So we need to maybe change this one to GDF2. Okay, so now if you have a mouse, you should see all the attributes associated with each solar panel, right? So that's all of this tutorial. I hope you find it useful. In the next couple videos, I'm going to show you more tutorials on how to train different detection models. For example, cars, ships, buildings, wetlands, something like that. So stay tuned for more tutorial. See you.